Hello, everyone. My name is Graver Santana, and I'm an MIP engineer at CYPE. I'm part of the technical support department. Today, I'm going to be the one in charge of this webinar, which is going to be about CYPE Open BIM solution for electrical installation. So I think that now we can start. These are the software that we are going to be presenting to you today. In order to I'm just gonna turn off my camera so I can see better my screen, and then at the end I'm gonna activate it again if you don't mind, guys. All right. So the first software that we are gonna be working on today is gonna be the CYPE the electrical mechanism, and in this software, basically what we're gonna do is that we are gonna insert all the terminal elements of electrical and telecommunication system. And then after that, what we're gonna do is that we are gonna export that information to the BIMserver.center, which is the platform where all the BIM information is gonna be loaded. So once we got that information in the BIMserver.center, then we are gonna import it in the CYPE distribution. Basically, what we're gonna do here is that we are gonna set our loads, the power of them, the demand factor, and all the requirement for each one of the load. Then we are gonna connect them to a circuit, and then that circuit we are gonna connect it to a distribution panel. Once we have finished inserting all the loads and the circuit in the CYPE distribution, we are gonna follow up to the CYPE core. And here, what we're gonna do is that we are gonna insert the single line diagram. We are gonna calculate the voltage drop of the conductor. We are gonna select the conductor, and then we are gonna be able to select to insert all the protection devices of our installation. One more thing is that here, for example, for the grounding system, we are gonna have the CYPE grounding IEC, which is gonna be according to this IEC standard. And we are also gonna have the CYPE grounding IEE, which is gonna be also according to this standard. These two software are for the same thing. So in these two software, we are gonna be able to calculate the grounding system or of our installation. That information, once we calculate it, we are gonna be able to import it to the CYPE core following the workflow of CYPE. And then once we have the single line diagram, we are gonna be able to import the information from the CYPE core in the Open BIM switchboard. In this software, what we're gonna do is that we are gonna be able to size our distribution panels and then select all the protection devices according to the manufacturer catalog that we selected. Then after that, what we're gonna be able also is to get the bill of quantities of the switchboard that we're gonna have. We are also gonna be able to get the drawing layout. Then one more software that we are gonna, once we finish designing the indoor installation, then we are gonna be able to design a photovoltaic installation. Here we are gonna be able to insert all the panels that we're gonna have, the inverter, and then we are gonna calculate how much energy we are gonna be producing. We are gonna be able to see how much energy we are gonna be producing daily, monthly, and annually. Then one more software that we have here for electrical installation is going to be the Open BIM cable routing. And in this software, let's say that if we are going to be conducting our conduit with a cable tray, we are going to be able to size it and see how much occupancy we are going to have in those cable tray. Then also, since we are gonna be working in a BIM environment, we are gonna need an ISC building model of the building that we are gonna be working with. So to do so, we are gonna have here the CYPE architecture, which is our software for 3D modeling of architectural design. And also, let's say that if you are working with other application, like for example Revit, you're gonna have here the Open BIM Revit by by joining to a project in the BIMserver.center platform, you are going to be able to export that information from Revit and then import it in the project that you have in the BIMserver.center, so you can start working with our software. So let's get into it, guys. So the first software that we're gonna be working with, as I said before, it's gonna be the CYPE electrical mechanism. And basically, when we open the software with the 3D model that I'm gonna show you it in here, I'm gonna show the floor slab so you can see it. This is gonna be a house. It's gonna be a dwelling unit, as you can see here. Then if I go to the ground floor, I'm gonna hide the floor slab so we can see the inside of it. Basically, the first thing when you open this software, you're gonna have to go to the general option, and in here in the point of use, you're gonna have to insert all the requirements that you are gonna need for each one of the rooms that you're gonna have in your project. For example, for bedroom, if I edit it, you're gonna see all the requirements that I'm gonna be needing in this type of room. And then once you have set all these parameters, or if you want to select one of the predefined code that you have here, you can select it, but you can also create a new one. Then what you will have to do is to insert all the terminal elements that you're gonna have. For example, if I zoom in here and I analyze it, I'm not gonna have any error, but if I delete, for example, a couple of elements, I'm gonna delete this switch and I'm gonna delete this one also. You're gonna see that now if I analyze it, I'm gonna have a warning message here, and here also I'm gonna have the warning message. So if I consult the checks, what you're gonna see is that here I'm not meeting this requirement. So for the project, the minimum requirement that I'm gonna have for switch is gonna be 2 switches, and then the ones that I have installed for that room is only 1. So I'm needing 1 more. The one that I have inserted in here is gonna be this one, which is the one who is gonna be for the light that is gonna be next to the bedroom. And then if I go back, for example, just let's say that I have inserted those elements. If I go back and I consult the checks, now I'm gonna be meeting all the requirement, the minimum one and the one that I have installed. Those elements can be inserted in here. You can select here what are the elements that you're gonna be inserting in your project, and then you can place it in your building. For example, here to generate automatically the outlet, you're gonna have this option. For example, let's see that here where we have a PC computer. Let's try first, let's try deleting this connection that I have here. And as you can see, the software is always gonna tell me what I need to insert. For example, I must assign an electrical outlet to this equipment. I can generate this connection here automatically, or by clicking in here, I can insert it manually. I'm gonna generate it automatically, and you see how it is get generated. More thing is that, for example, if I delete all these elements, and I delete this connection here, if I don't want to insert it manually, I'm gonna have this option where I'm gonna be able to generate those outlets. For example, by clicking in here, they are gonna be generated and they are gonna get connected to the computer, for example. More thing is that once you have, for example, finished your designing here, or you're gonna be able to click in console the checks, and you're gonna be able to export this report in any of these type of format, as you can see here. And if you click here in the report, you are gonna be able to get a material schedule of the element that you have inserted in your project. Also, this information, just like in the rest of the software, is always gonna be able to, you're always gonna be able to export it in any of these type of formats. One more thing that we can see here is that I'm going to insert a couple of electrical outlets, for example, so you guys can see how easy it is to work with this software. For example, I'm going to insert a switch, and when I select the switch here, I'm going to have an option where I'm going to be able to force the elevation, and I can insert it, for example, at an elevation of 1.5, 1.2, for example. And then no matter if I'm in the 3D view or in the 2D view, it is gonna be inserted in the elevation that I have selected. If then I don't click in here, it is gonna be placed wherever I click on it, as you can see. Then for the rest of the mechanism, if I want to insert an electrical outlet and a socket, for example, I can select that one in here, and then I can set a displacement for it, and let's say that I'm gonna be displacing it at a height of 0.3. I can insert it in here, for example, and then this is how it is going to look like. So if I cancel it and I edit it, I'm always gonna have a catalog from a manufacturer. So if I edit this one, for example, I'm gonna be able to select from here a catalog from a manufacturer. So it seems that I haven't downloaded any manufacturer catalog. So I'm gonna have to go back, clicking here, and I'm gonna download the three manufacturers that I have. And then once I have them, clicking on finish, I can go and edit on it. And we are gonna be able to select this element from a manufacturer catalog. For example, if I click in this one, I'm gonna have the three catalog that I have. So I'm gonna select one of them, and then I'm gonna be able to select how I want it to look like. For example, let's say that I'm gonna be selecting this one, and then it is gonna get adapted to the one that I have inserted from the manufacturer. So I'm just gonna delete these three elements that I have inserted. That it was only to show you how to insert those elements. Gonna go back to the 2D view. And then I'm gonna show you how to get, also you're gonna be able to get the bill of quantities in here. By clicking in here, you're gonna get the quantities of all these elements. And if you import, for example, a cost database, or you create a cost database, you're also gonna be able to get the cost of this element and the total amount of them. So before that, you're gonna have to insert a cost database and then do the mapping. The mapping, what is the mapping? The mapping basically is to associate all the elements and all the items that you insert from a cost database, and to associate it with the code from the element that you have inserted in your projects. Once you have done it, you're gonna see the total rates of it and the amount of each one for all of the elements that you have. For example, in this one you have 180. What it is gonna do is that it's gonna calculate the total amount of it. Then those reports are you're gonna be able to get them from here. For example, if I get the price below quantities in here and I accept it, this is gonna generate a document with all the elements that I have inserted. As you can see, I don't have the price of them because I haven't inserted a cost database. And then that information, you're gonna be able to export it just like the rest of the document in any of these type of formats. All right. So once we have finished with it, as I said before in here, we are gonna import that information to the CYPE distribution. So once we import this information in the CYPE distribution, what we're gonna do, the first thing that we have to do is to go to the general option, go to the type of receivers, and here in the type of receiver, what we are gonna be able to insert is all the type of loads that we are gonna have. For example, I'm gonna have only one type of lights, that if I edit it, you're gonna see here the type of lights and the power that it have, the power factor, the demand factor, and the third harmonic, for example. Here you can insert any type of loads that you want. As you can see, if it is gonna be a motor, you can select it in here. If it is gonna be a charger for an electrical car, you can select it from here. So in this case, since this is gonna be a light, I'm gonna be inserting it in here, the power of it, for example. Once you have inserted all the loads of your design, you're gonna have to connect them. But before doing an example in here, I would like to show you how this is has been designed. For example, here you're gonna have a distribution board, which is the one that you can see it in here. This distribution panel is gonna be in the kitchen. In this distribution panel, what I'm gonna have is all the electrical outlet that I have in the kitchen. The rest of the electrical outlet that I'm gonna have in the outdoor, for example, the motor for the pool, and the rest of the lights that I'm gonna have in the outdoor. That distribution panel is connected to the distribution board that I have here. We are also gonna have connected the rest of the house. For example, here I have an electrical charger for a car, for example, in the garage. And then that distribution board is gonna be connected to an electrical meter that I'm gonna have here. This is the box for the electrical meter. And then the electrical meter is gonna be connected to the grid, to the low voltage network. So in order to assign the load, what you're gonna be able to do is that, for example, this, if I insert a switchboard, I'm gonna edit this one. If I insert a switchboard, I'm gonna have to give a reference name to it, and then I'm gonna insert all the circuit that I'm gonna have in here. After I do it, what I'm gonna have to do is to click on here to assign property. And I'm gonna select a tree of them, for example, the type of load that I'm gonna have, which is gonna be a light, for example. I'm gonna edit this one. Then the distribution board where it is gonna be connected. This is gonna be connected to the distribution board, which is gonna be this one, as you can see here, the reference name. And then this is gonna be connected to, I'm gonna change the circuit. This one is connected in the circuit 1. I'm gonna connect it in the circuit number 2 so you guys can see it. I'm gonna have to accept it, and then by selecting it and clicking on it, it is gonna be connected to it. And then once we have done it, we are gonna see that we're gonna have some error message. And those error messages are gonna be because this load before was connected in the circuit number 1, and now it is connected to a different circuit. So this conduit that you can see here, the reference that it have is the reference of the previous circuit that I have connected. I can change it in here by using the blue cable button, or I can automatically calculate it in here, and the software is gonna assign it automatically, for example, as you can see. But to do a different example, let's say that in the previous software, I forgot to insert a socket for an outlet. So if I go in here, I'm gonna be able to insert it directly in here. Then I have to give a reference name to it. Have to assign the type of load that I'm gonna have, which is gonna be a socket. Where it is gonna be connected, the distribution board that it is gonna be connected is to this one. And then I'm gonna have to select the circuit where I'm gonna be connecting it. I'm gonna select this one, gonna accept it, gonna accept it again, and then I'm gonna be able to insert it in here. In order to insert it, I'm gonna go to the 2D view, so I can insert it easily. I'm gonna zoom in on it, and I'm gonna place it in here, for example. and I'm gonna give a displacement to it before inserting it, which is gonna be the one, right? I'm gonna insert it in here. Now, if I rotate it to the 3D view so we can see it, you can see how it's being inserted in here. So now if I move the mouse to it, you're gonna see how it is asking me to connect it with a conduit to the circuit number 4. So in order to do so, I'm gonna have to click in here. And by clicking in here, I'm gonna make it smaller. I'm gonna have to insert the distribution board and the circuit that it is gonna be connected. But if I don't insert that information and I select it, and I just connect it, I'm gonna connect it in 3D. And I just connect this element with this conduit. I go back, you're gonna see that here I'm gonna have a conduit, and if I click in here, as you see before, it is empty. So I can do it manually, or I can calculate it so we can generate the conduit automatically. So by clicking in here, I'm gonna be able to generate it automatically, and this is how it is gonna look like. Once I have generated automatically, if I edit it, you're gonna see that all the information is being filled out. All right, so after that, one more thing is that once you have finished your design, you're gonna be able to get the report of it. So if I click in here, the software is gonna generate automatically the report of what we have inserted. For example, here, this is gonna be the distribution panel that I have in the kitchen. And these are gonna be all the circuit that I have. For example, this is gonna be the motor for the pool, and this is gonna be the lighting for the outdoor, and this one is gonna be for the indoor, and then all the electrical sockets that I'm gonna have in the kitchen. Then here I'm gonna have the total power of it. This is without the demand factor, because the demand factor, even though that you can apply a demand factor in the software, I'd rather do it in the CYPE core where we are gonna be working on our single line diagram. Then I'm gonna have the distribution board, which is the one who is gonna be connected to the grid. We're gonna have all the elements that we have in here, and as you can see, the electrical car charger that I showed you before, here it is. Then we are gonna have all the circuit here, detailed information of all the circuit, the power of each outlet that I'm gonna have, the power factor, the demand factor, and the number of outlets that I have connected to that circuit. We're gonna have that detailed information for each one of the circuit. That information, you're gonna be able to export it in here in any of these type of formats, as I said before. All right. Once we have finished it, what we're gonna have to do is to share that information to the BIMserver.center. So then we can open it in the CYPE core where we are gonna be working on the single line diagram. So if I go, for example, to the CYPE core, this is what we're gonna have. This is what we're gonna have firstly. This is the one that I have already designed, that I have already made some changes to it. So the information that comes from the CYPE distribution, you are gonna have that information in here, and you're gonna have here all the circuits that you're gonna be importing if they are meeting all the requirements. For example, if I click in this one, this is the information that comes from the CYPE distribution. For example, this is the power that I have, and this is the power that then I'm gonna have in the single line diagram. The total length of the circuit, so we can calculate the voltage drop. So it means that we are meeting all the requirement, all the project requirement in the single line diagram. So let's say that, for example, in order to show you how to import a project, I'm just gonna open a new file, and I'm gonna link it to that project. I'm gonna create a new project. I'm gonna name it single line diagram, the date of today, which is gonna be 14, 17, 24, right? I'm gonna have to select the project that I already created. I'm gonna select it. And then here I'm gonna click in the information that I want to load. Information that I want to load is gonna be only the distribution installation. I'm gonna accept it. And then you're gonna be able to see how you can import the information in each one of the software, because it is the same process. Once you have imported, this is what you're gonna have. You're gonna have here the first line of the connection, and it is not gonna be connected with anything. And here you're not gonna have yet the information. That's because you haven't imported now in the single line diagram the information that come from the CYPE distribution. So in order to generate the single line diagram, you're gonna have to click in here. You're gonna have to click on yes. And then you're gonna have here the single line diagram. Here, this is the distributed load that you have in the CYPE distribution. But if you want to, if you don't want to see it in the expanded version, you can click in here and you can contract that information. And now you're gonna see only the circuits that you have without the distributed load. So once you are in here, now that you have your single line diagram, and if I click in any one of these elements, for example, you're gonna be able to set the type of cable that you want for the line, the section of it, and then the protection devices that you're gonna have here. For example, you're gonna be able to size them. So here also you're gonna be able to apply the simultaneously coefficient that you're gonna have. Let's say that, for example, here you're gonna be able to select in one of these three options if you want to insert it by power, or if you want to insert it by a factor. Let's say that I'm gonna have factor of 0.6. Here, whenever you see this question mark, is so you can see how the software is gonna apply the simultaneously factor. For example, the one that is downstream is gonna be applicable for the installation that is downstream, and then the same coefficient factor is the one that is gonna go upstream of our installation. So I'm gonna apply that one, for example. I'm gonna accept it. And then before calculating it, I'm gonna show you that here in the project, you're gonna be able to set all the general requirements for the project. Let's say that here, you're gonna be able to set the grounding resistance according to the type of diagram that you're gonna have for grounding. If you see here, I have the grounding resistance of the post-conductive part and the grounding resistance of the neutral cable. This information can be set or inserted manually by the user, or this can be imported from the two software that I show you here. That are going to be the grounding IC and the grounding IEE. I'm going to show you how to import this information later, but now I'm going to be showing you the rest of the project requirement that you can set. Clicking in here, going to the library, we are gonna see here all the type of lights and the type of loads, and for example, this one for the light, which is the one that I inserted before in the CYPE distribution, as you can see, and then the rest of the loads, the type of loads that I have, they have been imported. Then here the type of supply, if it is gonna be connected to a low voltage network, if it is gonna be connected to a transformer of a substation, you can select the type of installation that you're gonna have. Also here, if it is gonna be connected to a generator set, or if it is gonna be connected to any other external supply. For example, here, if you have a photovoltaic installation, you're gonna be able here to set the peak power of the inverter that you're gonna have, the power factor, and the short circuit percentage voltage that you're gonna have. All right. So then here you're gonna have more options so you can size your project. For example, if I click in here, the type of cables that I wanna see and the type of lines. For example, let's say that I'm not gonna be working with the IEC standard, so I can uncheck it, and then I'm not gonna be able to select any type of cable according to this standard. Or let's say that I want to work with the IEC standard, I don't want to work with with this size of cable, and I don't want to work with those one. I can uncheck them, and then by accepting it, I'm not gonna have available in the catalog, for example. Then the same thing apply for the fuse, for the circuit breaker, the residual current devices, and the magnetic starters, for example. Then here you're gonna have the rest of the information, so you can configure your project and your drawing layouts, for example. And here you're gonna have the group of lines and the lines that you can have for it, so you can connect all the elements and all the distribution board and panel and load that you have in your installation. Then here you're gonna have distributed loads if you want to any distributed load, just in case something that you forget to insert in the previous software, or you can insert also concentrated loads. Let's say that, for example, in the previous software, I forgot to insert the circuit for the HVAC system. I can click in here, the length of it, from the panel to the condensator that I'm gonna have for the HVAC system. And then here I can insert the power of it, which is, for example, gonna be 5.5 kilowatts. Then I can select the type of load that I'm gonna have. This is gonna be a motor, for example. And if in here I don't want to select the type of cable that I'm gonna have, I can leave those values back before. And then if I click on design it automatically, the software is gonna change it, and the software is gonna adjust that information according to the power that I have. The cable is gonna size it so it can meet the minimum requirement of voltage drop. It can meet also the requirement according to the circuit breaker that the software is gonna size. So I'm gonna accept it. I'm gonna insert it in here. That's how it is gonna be, how it's gonna look like. Then here you're gonna have all the rest of the option that you can insert. You can pre-configure switchboard and anticipated panel. So let's say that there is a panel that I don't know how it is gonna be the distribution of it, and I want to insert it here. I'm just gonna have to in here insert the power that I'm gonna be requiring for that distribution panel. Then here I'm gonna have the supplementary power supply. This can be, for example, a generator set. I'm gonna have transformers in here. I'm gonna have a new PS, and I'm gonna have a capacitor band just in case I want to get a better power factor of for my design. All right. Once we have set all these parameters here, and once we have inserted all the element, or once we have changed everything we want to change, we are gonna have here the analysis option. Here, these two, one option, for example, if I click on analyze, the difference between these two, one is that if I click in analyze, the software is gonna calculate everything according to what I have inserted. Then it is gonna tell me if I got some error or if I have made some mistake. But if I click in this one, the software is gonna size the single line diagram automatically. So it's gonna size the type of cable, the type of protection devices that I'm gonna have, and the rest of the element. Maybe there is one thing that I'm gonna have to change manually, but most of the thing that I'm gonna have here, the software is gonna size it automatically if I click in here. How it is gonna size it? It is gonna size it according to the requirement that I'm gonna be able to insert in here. According to what I have in here, the software is gonna do an automatic calculation. So first thing, I'm gonna calculate in here with the thing just like how I have inserted them. You're gonna see the we're gonna have some errors. For example, here, if I click in here, we are gonna see the report with all the errors that I have. I have 3 of them. If I see this one, for example, the error that I have here, if I extended the view, for example, the error that I have in here is that, for example, here the design current of the circuit is gonna be 58 amperes, and this must be below or equal to the current that I'm gonna have in the protection device. For example, the one that I have so far is gonna be 10 amperes. For example, this is not gonna work because this one must to be more than the one. So this one gotta be 63, for example. Then one more thing is that I'm also gonna have this one. For example, if I change this one, then I'm gonna have that in this one, I'm gonna have 63 with 49. That's not gonna work. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go back and manually I'm gonna change, for example, the circuit breaker 63. This one also to 63. You're gonna see now that if I calculate it, I'm gonna still have a mistake in it. When I go back here and I show the view of it, now I'm meeting this requirement, which is gonna be this third part, but I'm not meeting this one. So here, this one is below to this one, so this is not gonna work. This is gonna burn when I started demanding power to it. So now here, what I'm gonna have to do is to change the type of cable that I'm gonna have. So in order to do so, to change the type of cable, what I'm gonna do, as you can see, I have a couple of errors here. I'm just gonna click on here so the software can size my installation automatically. So I'm gonna click on accept it, and now it is calculating it. As you can see, most of the error has disappeared. So if I now go back here, let's see which one, if they only have one error left. And if I click in here, all right, if I go below this one, I'm gonna see the reason why. For example, here, what the software is telling me is that here I have a residual current device that is upstream and it is instantaneous. So that one cannot be instantaneous because here I have another downstream, I have another residual current device that is also instantaneous. So this one needs to be selected. So I'm gonna have to change it. And also this one cannot be the same because this one is the residual current of this one is 30 milliamperes. So the residual current of this one that is upstream needs to be more. So now that the software has told me the error that I have, I can close it. And then by editing it, I can go to the residual current device that I have. I'm going to increase the residual current, and the type of selectivity that I'm going to have, it's going to be selected, accepting it, and calculate it again. Now, now I have sized my installation. Yeah, now I have sized my installation, and as you can see here, I have no error. So as you can see, this is how fast you can meet all the requirements for your installation. Here, if I click in here, for example, the name of it, which is the electrical meter, which is the one that I have in here, which is the one that I show you that I have in here, that then from this electrical meter, I'm connecting this distribution board that I have here, which is gonna be, if I go back to the single line diagram, to this one, which is gonna be this distribution board. As you can see here in the reference name, it's the same. And then this one that I have here is the distribution panel that I'm gonna have in the kitchen. If I go back, this is the one that I have in the kitchen, for example. As you can see, this one, which is connected to the distribution board that I have in here. One thing is that going back to the single line diagram, something is that, for example, if I click in here, you're gonna see not in this one, the electrical meter. So if I click, for example, in here, you're gonna see that the software has sized them automatically. But if I want to size them manually and I don't want the 10 millimeter cable and I want the 16 millimeter, for example, so the software doesn't change it, I'm gonna have to lock it in here. So by locking in here, the software is not gonna size it automatically. It's gonna size it according to the information that I have inserted manually. All right. So once we have finished our installation, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go back to the previous one that I have already designed. For example, if I click in this distribution panel that I have here, you're gonna see here that I'm gonna be able to select the bus bar that I'm gonna have, if I'm gonna have a bus bar, and I'm gonna be able to set it according to the project requirement, and then the software is gonna calculate it if it is meeting the requirement or if I'm gonna have to do some changes. All right, I'm gonna go back to it. I'm gonna go back to the supply network, which is gonna be connected to the which is gonna be connected to the grid. For example, this total length that we have here is the one that we have load from the previous software. This one, since we haven't connected to the grid, here we have the total length that we have inserted. But if I go to this one, for example, that is connected to the electric meter, the total distance that I'm gonna have here is gonna be 9.77, and that's gonna be according to what the software have imported from here. For example, if I go to the electrical meter that I'm gonna have here, total distance that I'm gonna have here is gonna be a length of 1 meter. Then I can here I'm gonna have 7.77, so that's gonna be 8.77. And then in here I'm gonna have a total distance of 1. So that's meeting the requirement, and that's what I have imported. So 8.77 plus 1 is gonna be 977, which is the value, that we have in here. So it's been imported in here correctly. So if I click in here, you're gonna see that the project requirement, we have it in here. So the software then, according to it, can calculate the vortex trap. Here, there are two types of reports that you can get. If I click in here, if I analyze it again, and if I click in here, I'm gonna have here the report, as you can see. And this report, the complete report, you can, by clicking in here, you can print how the process of how the software size all of the element of the installation. Clicking in here, you're gonna be able to export it in any of these type of formats. All right. If you want the report only with the requirement for this project, you're gonna have to click in here and report. And here you're gonna have two type of reports. You're gonna have a material schedule, which is gonna be a material schedule with all the elements that we have inserted in our installation, and that can be exported in here in any of these type of format. The other type of report that we are gonna get from this software is gonna be the report of the result table. By clicking here, we're gonna have to set all the information that you want to see in the report. Then if you want to see all the information joined, or if you want to see separately. So then once you have select all the information that you want to see in the report, by clicking in report, you're gonna see, for example, here, all the total, for example, for the distribution board, the power that we have in the installation, and the demand fact according to the power demand that we have inserted. This is gonna be the power that is gonna be design our installation. Then here you're gonna have the current of the design current, and the current of the protection of the cable that we have inserted, for example. And here you're gonna see the voltage drop of the line, and then the accumulated voltage drop. For example, for this one is gonna be this one plus this one, what is gonna be 1.34. Then according to the protection devices that we are gonna have, we are gonna see also here the protection device that we're gonna have in the part of our installation, the design current of the current of the conductor that you're gonna have, the cable, the maximum short circuit current of our protection device, the breaking capacity. Since here we only have, for example, here we have a fuse, we don't have breaking capacity, but in the distribution board where we have where we have a breaker, for example, we are going to have the breaking capacity of it, and then here we are going to have the minimum short circuit current, and just the rest of the information according to what we have configured. Then for each one of the distribution board that we're gonna have, we are gonna have the requirement for each one of the circuit and so on. Then we are gonna have here the circuit or the compromission or the check that the software has carried out, and that information again you're gonna be able to export it in here. More thing is that here you, just like in the rest of the software that I'm gonna show you with you can get the drawing layout, for example, by clicking in here. You're gonna be able to get the drawing layout, for example, here by clicking here you can configure them for a complete drawing, for example, and accepting it. The software is gonna generate the drawings. So I click on yes, accept it. And then in here, we are gonna see how we are gonna print this drawing with all the information that the software, all the calculation that the whole software has performed. For example, here, this is gonna be the circuit for the electrical car charger. As you can see, I have the meter in here, I have the residual current device, I have a fuse, and then here I have a circuit breaker. Then here I'm gonna have the panel that I'm gonna have in the kitchen, for example, with all the circuit that I have on it. This report can be printed in PDF by clicking in here, or it can be printed in DWG as you select it in here, because here you're gonna have to select how you want to print it. If you want to print it in PDF, or if you want to print it in DWG, you're gonna be able to select it here. Now I would like to go back to the distribution software, so I can show you also how you can print the drawing layout. For example, by clicking in here, you're gonna be able to get the drawings layout. I have created here two types of drawings. So if I edit one of them, you're gonna see that those are the floors that I want to print. I'm gonna print the ground floor, and then I'm gonna print the loft, for example. Then the option how I want to get those drawing. I want to get the drawing template, and I want to get the vectorization of the project, for example. I select it, and then in this one, what I'm printing is the GTF file, so I can get a realistic view of the drawing. By accepting it, the software is gonna generate all the drawings. For example, it is generating it now. Okay, once they are printed, we click on yes, so it can get generated. Detail of all of the drawings. And then this is what we're gonna see. Example here. I'm gonna zoom in on it. We are gonna have the normal CAD drawing that we can see every day in any type of design that we do. And then here also, you're gonna see the legend with all the symbols that we have inserted. Just to let you know that these symbols can also be customizable in the general option. For example, if you want to change the type of symbol that you're gonna have here, you're gonna be able to change it according to the code of your country, for example. Then This one is gonna be a realistic view of how it is gonna look like in the reality. And you're gonna have here a high definition drawing, for example, that you're also gonna be able to print it in the type of format that you have selected. For example, for both drawing, I have selected that I'm gonna be printing them in DWG. So according, if you want to print them in a different format, just to let you know that by selecting it in here, you're gonna be able to do so. All right. So I'm gonna go back to it, and then I'm gonna go back to the CYPE core. Here, the last thing that I would like to show you is that by clicking in here, for example, here you have this value. I'm just gonna change it. I'm just gonna change it for other values. So you see how I'm gonna be exporting this information. For example, this one is gonna be imported from the CYPE IEC, and this one is gonna be imported from the CYPE grounding IEE. So I'm gonna go to these two software. So these are really simple software. Here, basically, what you're gonna have to do is to insert the type of resistivity that you're gonna have on the soil resistivity. You can select one of the predefined type of soil that comes with the software, or you can insert the resistivity here manually. For example, here, according to what I have inserted, I have that the resistivity is gonna be 1.33. So if I change it, for example, to 50, you're gonna see how it is gonna, how the value is gonna decrease, because now I decrease the resistivity. I'm gonna get it back to normal. Now you're gonna see this is the value that I have in here, and now in the grounding IEE, if you see here, this is a more complex calculation, so you can select how you want to do it. If you want to do it complete, if you want to do it complete with a homogeneous soil, or if you want to do it with two types of soil, for example, you're gonna be able to select all this information in here. Then you're gonna have to select the requirement, the mesh that you're gonna have, and all the lengths, the type of conductor that you're gonna have, and the section of how many roads you're gonna have in this installation. Then the software is gonna calculate the resistance of the assembly that you're gonna have. This report you're gonna be able to print it from here, or if you want, you by clicking in here also, you're gonna be able to print it. Once you have finished with this calculation, you're gonna have to share that information, and then going to the CYPE core, for example, I'm gonna accept it with these two values. I'm gonna go back, yes, with these two values, and now if I import the information from the CYPE grounding, for example, which is gonna be this one, the ISC and the IEE, and if I accepted it, the software now is gonna load those values. It is loading and importing all the information. So if I go back here again, we're gonna see that now it is the same that I have, for example, in the grounding IEC, which is gonna be the same resistance of the assembly, and then in the grounding IEE, which is gonna be 3.8. And if I go back to the CYPE core, you're gonna see that now here I have the same value. Here the residue of the soil, if I want to specify something different, I can do it. And then just like, here the residence, the frequency of the network, this is gonna be a 50 Hertz frequency. Setting it, and then you can calculate it again. And everything is gonna be fine according to all the requirements. Then that information can be shared just one more time, and then what we gonna have to do, for example, after that, once we have our single line diagram, we already know what are all the distribution panels that we're gonna have and how they are gonna be connected, and all the protection devices that we're gonna have, the breakers that we're gonna have, the residual device current that you're gonna have. We can start working on the Open BIM switchboard. Well, that just like I said before here, what we're gonna be able to do is to size the distribution panels that we're gonna have in our design. Here you're gonna see how they are gonna be imported, and then in here you're gonna have all the element that has come from that distribution panel, and in here we are gonna be able to select all the protection devices that we are gonna have. That if I edit this one, for example, we're gonna see the project requirement in here, as you can see, and then the selection that we have done from a manufacturer. So how to select them? We are gonna have to select in here that we are gonna be selecting from a manufacturer. If you don't want to select it from a manufacturer, you can click in here on generic. So by clicking in here, then you can access to the manufacturer catalog. You have to select the catalog that you're gonna be working with, for example, and then you're gonna have all the devices here. If you want to do a filter, just to let you know that here you have the option. So the one that I have selected is meeting all the project requirements, so that's fine for me. I accept it. Once I have everything completed in here, what I have to do is to go to the assembly, so I can cite my distribution board and the distribution panel that I have in the kitchen. In order to do so, the first thing that we're gonna have to do in here is to size the dimension of the panel that we're gonna have. And then after that, we are gonna see this panel in here, and we are gonna be able to insert, for example, the tracks that you're gonna have. You're gonna be able to insert them in here. Then we are gonna be able to add those elements from the one that we inserted before, which are gonna be the one that we have here from the manufacturer, for example. Then also we are gonna be able to insert the bus bar that we are gonna have, and then all the bridges line that we are gonna have in both of them. For example, this one you cannot see completely, just like in the previous one, because this one in this one I have the front cover of the distribution panel. Then once we have finished it, just to let you know that this is also in 3D, so we are gonna be able to rotate it. You're gonna be able to rotate it just like in the previous software. And once you have finished with it, you're gonna be able, by clicking in here, to get a report. And in this report, what you're gonna get is, for example, bill of quantities. If you have selected those elements from a manufacturer, you're gonna have the price of it and the quantity of each one of the element that you have inserted. For example, in this switchboard, I don't have the price because this one I inserted manually, so the software didn't have the price for it because I was the one who inserted it. But for example, this one, since I selected from a manufacturer, as you can see, it has the price, just different than this one because it was a generic element that I inserted manually. All right, this information again is you're gonna be able to export it in any of these type of formats. Then in here, you can get the drawings of your panel design. For example, by clicking in here, you can select all the information that you want to see on it. And by accepting it, easily, you're going to be able to generate the drawing of them. Now it is generating the drawing. Now click on yes. Now here in detail of all of the drawings, I'm going to see both both distribution board and the distribution panel that I have here. As you can see here, I'm gonna have a number, and that number is gonna be part of the legend of each one of the elements that I have inserted in here. And here the selection is gonna be according to the manufacturer catalog. As you can see here, this one is selected from Retelet, and this one, for example, is selected from Snyder. Then for this one, it's gonna be the same thing. Here you're gonna have all the elements that you have inserted, all the protection devices, and then here you're gonna have the layout. For that, you're gonna be able again to print those drawings. All right. So the next software The next software, what we're gonna be working with is gonna be the CYPE PV system. But before going to the CYPE PV system, so we can finish the indoor installation, I would like to show you the Open BIM cable routing. In the Open BIM cable routing, let's say that we are gonna be inserting all those elements in a cable tray, for example. Here we can see how we can insert the cable tray, and now and also we hold on. Also, as you can see in this cable tray, we are gonna see, for example, the occupancy that we are gonna have on it, as you can see, because if I edit one of them, you're gonna see you're gonna be able to select it from a manufacturer, for example, the manufacturer that I have in here. There are more manufacturers, but I have only downloaded those two manufacturers, which are the one that I wanted to work with in this project. And then in here, you're gonna be able to insert all the conductors and or the cable size that you have from the single line diagrams. Here you're gonna be able to insert them, and then that's how you're gonna see the occupancy that you're gonna have in the cable trays. Here, as you can see, the T branch, the software is gonna assign them automatically. And if I make a small example, for example, I'm gonna insert here. I'm gonna select the manufacturer. I'm gonna select this one. I'm gonna insert this element in here. Gonna block the orthogonality. Then I'm gonna insert another one in here, for example. I'm gonna connect it in here. And by clicking in here, I can generate automatically the T branch connection that I'm gonna have in here. So I can set those configuration in here, and by accepting it, software is gonna size it out automatically. For example, here you may say that this one, just like this one is being sized, I don't wanna see the information from the distribution because I wanna see cleaner. I'm gonna uncheck it. For example, this one has been assigned automatically, but if you go to this one, for example, this one hasn't been assigned. That's because the software needs the space that it's gonna need to it can size it automatically. So now it only cut it in here because it cannot size the T branch in here because there is not enough space. So if I go to the 2D view, and for example, I'm gonna give more space to it. I'm just gonna move this element in here, gonna place it in here, and then I'm gonna place this one in here. Now the software is gonna be asking me to size the section that I'm gonna have here, which is gonna be a T branch. So by clicking in here, now the software is gonna be able to generate it automatically, as you can see here. Before it couldn't do it because there was not enough space, so it can add the T branch in it. All right. So after that, just to let you know that here also you're gonna be able to get the bill of quantities. Clicking in here, and by updating the quantities, for example, if you have a cost database, just like I said before, you're gonna be able to get the bill of quantities with all the information according to the price that you import from your cost database. By accepting it, all the information have been imported, and now it have generated all the elements that I'm gonna have and the quantity of them. All right. So going back here, just to let you know that also if you want to get only the material schedule, you're gonna be able to get in here also, as you can see now. All right. One more thing is that also not only cable tray, but if you want to insert a tube, for example, I have this one, which is gonna be from the information. I'm just gonna show it again here. Since you know, this one is gonna be for the connection from the electric meter to the distribution board that I'm gonna have in my house. And here, as you can see here, the conduits that we're gonna have, which is gonna be 28 millimeters. The occupancy of it is gonna be 47.4%. All right. Then once you have finished it, then you're gonna always know, you're always gonna be able to get the drawings that you're gonna have here. For example, if I include this one, for example, and I generate the GTF file, gonna by giving a name of it, create, I'm gonna be able to print this drawing again. Okay, now we click on yes, accept it. And now we're gonna have a realistic view of how those elements and how those cable tray are gonna look like in our project. So you can see here. Then that information, by clicking in here, just like in the rest of the software, you're gonna be able to print it. All right. Just gonna go back, and then, as I said before, the last software that we are gonna be working today with is gonna be the CYPE PV system. So if we open the CYPE PV system, for example, first thing we have to do here is to go to the element library. Here we are gonna have to insert all the type of modules that we are gonna have here. For example, if I click on it, you're gonna see how much energy, the nominal power, and what is the most of the energy that it can provide, and then all the requirement according to the manufacturer catalog. Then, for example, here we are also going to have the inverter with all the requirement, the number of trackers that we are going to have, the maximum power point tracker that we are going to have in each one of those trackers, and then the maximum and the minimum voltage that this inverter was designed to. As you can see here, the nominal power and the peak power of the inverter, the efficiency of the factor that we're going to have in here, sorry, then the efficiency is going to be here. If it's gonna be three phase, or if you're gonna be single phase, this one is gonna be single phase. So one more thing is that, for example, here you're gonna have a manufacturer catalog that you also can download in here, as you can see. Then you're gonna have to go to the general options, and in the general options, what you're gonna be able to do is to here to select the maximum voltage drop that you are gonna load in the DC part of your installation, and the maximum one that you're gonna allow in the AC part of installation. The design current that you're gonna be selecting, the minimum power of the inverter respect to the installed power. The maximum autonomy of the installation, this apply only if it is gonna be an off-grid installation. So you know that if you say, for example, I'm gonna have an off-grid installation and I want a maximum autonomy for 3 days because that's for a house that I'm gonna be only using for the weekends, for example, you can do so. All right. Then here, the type of cables that you're gonna have. For example, here, just the same thing like in the CYPE core. When we were designing the single line diagram, you're gonna select the type of cable that you want to work with and the type of standard that you're gonna be working with. You can select the cable that you don't wanna work with. For example, I always select those one because I don't like working with those cables. All right. So for that, one thing is that, for example, to know how much energy your installation is gonna be generating, you're gonna have to insert here, for example, by schedule or by total. It's gonna depend. If you select it by schedule, you're gonna have a hourly value, how much energy you're gonna be generating. And if it is by total, you're gonna have the energy that we are gonna be producing monthly and then annually. Example, here you're gonna have to insert all the radian values of your installation. This is gonna be monthly, as you can see here. And if I select it, for example, a schedule, here for each one of the month, I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have to insert the by daily by hours, as you can see here, because it's gonna be more detailed information. All right. This information, as you can see below here, it can be imported from a CVS file from the PVG website. Here you are gonna have a direct access from the PVG website, and you're gonna be able to select. Here you're gonna be able to insert that information, and then you're gonna be able to download the CSV file that you're gonna need. But if you got the information from any other source, just to let you know that you can insert it manually here, the temperature and the radiant values that you're gonna have in the location of your project. Once you have done it, just to let you know that here, for example, if you want to know how much energy you are gonna be generating according how many panels you insert in your installation, here you're gonna have the energy pre-designer. In here, what you're gonna have to specify if it is gonna be an off-grid or if it is gonna be on-grid. For example, according to what you select in here, the information that you're gonna see is gonna be different, because if it is gonna be off-grid, you're gonna have to calculate the autonomy and how many panels you're gonna need. For example, in this one, you're gonna need the number of panels. You're gonna need a minimum of 19 panels and a maximum of 23 panels, so you can have the autonomy. Just in case you can add more battery, and maybe if you add more battery, you're gonna need not that much panel, for example. So since this installation is gonna be an on-grid installation, here again you're gonna have the information of the energy that you're gonna be producing. You're gonna have to select the type of panels that you're gonna be working with, so the software know how much energy then you're gonna be producing, as you can see here. Then here you're gonna have a graphic report of how much energy you're gonna be demanding and how much energy then you're gonna be producing. Also, if you want, you're gonna have, since this is a pre-designer, you're gonna be able to do an estimation of the cost of your installation here. As you can see, the self-renew values that you're gonna have, just in case you're gonna be producing more energy. For example, here in August, you're gonna be producing more energy. So then for the month that I have selected here, this is the energy that I'm gonna be producing. This is the energy that I'm gonna be demanding, the energy that I'm gonna be using, which is gonna be all the energy that I'm gonna be producing, because I'm not gonna have a leftover, and that's why then we are gonna have here the energy required, which is gonna be the difference between these two one. Since I'm not having any leftover, I'm not gonna have a self-renew. So if I want to see this information graphically, we can get a report in here, as you can see. And each one of the months, you're gonna have the same information here in this report. For example, if I go to August, let's say that in August, for example, if I go to here, you're gonna see that in August, this is the energy that I'm gonna be demanding. Maybe this is because the people who live in this house are gonna be on vacation in August, and I'm gonna be producing all this energy. So if I'm selling the energy to the distribution company, then we are gonna see here in August how much energy, what is gonna be our self-renew and the leftover of energy that we are gonna be selling to the distribution company. All right. Then after that, let's say that for these installations, this is how much energy we are gonna want to generate. Then this is gonna be the total number of panels that we are gonna need. I'm gonna accept it, and then I'm gonna have to insert all those panels by clicking in here. I'm gonna have to select the type of panels that I'm gonna be working with. I'm gonna have to select the type of installation, if it is gonna be horizontal or if it is gonna be vertical. The type of how I'm gonna install it, if it is gonna be on a horizontal plane, for example, if it is gonna be overlay, or if it is going to be an architectural integration. For example, if I select this one that is going to be an architectural integration, I can go just to make the example, I can go by clicking in here, I can insert this panel in here, and this is gonna be architectural integrated in my building. All right, so I'm just gonna delete this one. I'm gonna go back here, and if I want to insert any other type of panel on an horizontal plane, for example, have to select the panel again. Gonna go back here. I'm gonna give the inclination that I'm gonna have in here and the orientation. They are gonna be oriented to the south, so I'm just gonna leave the azimuth just like that. And then here, this is how I'm gonna be able to insert those panels in my building. If I want to insert them all together, for example, I have to click in here, a row of panels. Let's say that I want to insert a row of 4 panels. All right. I'm gonna have to accept it, select the type of the type of panel that I'm gonna be working with, the inclination that I'm gonna have, and then by selecting in here, I can insert all those panels that I want to. As you can see, this is how they are gonna be inserted, just like you can see those one. Then what I'm gonna have to do is to connect those panels to a string according to the inverter that we have inserted. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna delete those elements, and I'm gonna show you in this one. For example, if I edit one of them, you're gonna see that they are connected, for example, to this string, which is the one that I have selected for the inverter that I have. And then this one is gonna be connected to a different string, as you can see here. The inverter, for example, the inverter I have inserted in here, and if I edit it, you're gonna see that then this inverter is gonna be connected to the inverter output, which is gonna be the distribution panel that I'm gonna have in here in this house. As you can see, it's gonna be my installation, my connection to the house, for example. Then once we have finished the design of our energy production that we are gonna have, we are gonna be able to get also the single line diagram of our photovoltaic installation. By clicking in here, for example, we can see the report of each one of the line of the conduits that we are gonna have, the coordination that we're gonna be having in here. As you can see, this is meeting the requirement. It's just the same requirement that we were working on before on the CYPE core, for example, and it is meeting the requirement, right? Then this report can be just exported in any of this type of formatting here. As you can see, then for the inverted, you're also gonna have the report according to the voltage drop that we are gonna be allowing to it, according to the one that we set in the general option. And then here also for the DC part of our installation, we are gonna have the same checks that are gonna be able also to print it in any of this type of format. So after that, let's say that you have finished designing your installation, and again you want to get the bill of quantities. You are gonna be able to do so by updating in here. For example, I click on this one. You're gonna be You're gonna update it. Or if you want, you can delete the one that you have and you want to update it again. And this is how it is gonna look like. Just the only thing is that if you want to get the total amount of it, you're gonna have to connect it with a cost database. If you click in one of those elements, you're gonna see the detailing here. You're gonna see the detail of the type of cables that you're gonna have. Here also you're gonna see the detail of the quantity of panels that you're gonna have. The detail of the inverter, for example, also. All right. Then let's say that you have finished the installation and you want to get a report. You're gonna have to click in here, the justification calculation. You're gonna get this report with all the calculation that the software has performed. Then the orientation that you're gonna have, the inclination of the panel, and how much energy you're gonna be producing. As you can see, each one of the months you're gonna see the energy that you're gonna be producing, and at the end here you're gonna see all the check of the inverter. For example, this is the energy that I have. For example, here this is the voltage that I have in the tracker number 1, and I'm between the values that the inverter can can work with, as you can see. Then here, the production consumption check. This doesn't mean a mistake because this is gonna be an on-grid installation. This only means that, for example, in August and September, I'm gonna be producing more energy than the one that I'm gonna be needing. In this case, since I'm gonna be connected to the grid and I don't want to produce more energy than the one that I'm gonna be demanding, it doesn't matter. But if just in case let's say that this is gonna be an off-grid installation, and I want to produce, I want to generate all the energy that I'm gonna be needing, I'm gonna have to add more more panels and maybe another inverter, depending, or change the inverter for another inverter that can work with more panels and can give you more power. All right, this report can be exported in here. Then the last thing that we can see here is that also you can get the production summary. Here you're gonna see how much energy you're gonna be producing each one of the month, and then annually. Here you're gonna have the same information but graphically. And then printing in here, you can get the drawing layouts. For example, here I'm gonna have two type of views for the drawings, and then I'm gonna have here a layout for the single line diagram. I'm gonna accept it. It is gonna get generating them. All right, we click on yes, accept it. Now here we are gonna have the detail of all of the drawing, the realistic view. Then we're gonna have here the normal view that we can have, like cut view, and then also here you're gonna get the single line diagram of our installation, as you can see, with all of the details. Then how it is gonna be connected to the grid, which is gonna be the distribution board one that we're gonna have next to the inverter in our house. All right. Then after that, we have finished it, but before going offline, I would like to show you the BIMserver.center. Would like to go to the BIMserver.center so I can show you how then you're gonna be able to see your project. Here, just to let you know that the BIMserver.center is a free platform, so you can create an account and start working with it. So if I go to project, you guys can see this project because this project I have saved it and it is gonna be open. It's not private. This one is open. I can set the requirements so it is open if you guys want to see it. So by clicking in here, it is preparing the view now because there is a lot of information in this project. And now here I can select what the information that I want to see. I want to see the architectural model. I want to see the electrical distribution, the cable tray, for example, and the photovoltaic installation. By accepting it, now it is going to be generating the view. This can be seen online, for example, if you go to the project site and you want to see if you want to see if it is being carried out according to the design, you're going to be able to see. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside the house, and this is what you're going to see. For example, here you're going to see the cable tray. we have. Then here you can see we are gonna have the inverter and the distribution board. And if I move around the house, we're gonna see this. If I wanna see the electrical outlet, I'm gonna have to click on here, but I don't wanna see this one. And by accepting it, you're gonna see how the software generated all the outlets. So if I go this way also, we're gonna see here the distribution panel that we have and the inverter that we have here that I showed you before when we were doing the design of our installation. All right. So one more thing that we can take a look on BIMserver.center is that if we go to the store here, as I said, this is a free platform, so you can create an account, and by searching in here, I can look for the software that I want to download. For example, this one for the PV installation. I'm gonna be able to download the software in here, or if I want to get more information about the software, by clicking in here, I can go to the website of it. Here I can see detailed information of the software, how the software do the calculation, learning resources. Here you're gonna be able to find some videos of how to use this application. The FAQ, we answer to common question, and the technical support department, so you can contact us if you have any doubt about using the software. So here you're gonna be able to do it to do it so, for example, by email. You're gonna be able always to contact us at this email. You can send out your question and we are gonna answer to them shortly. So I think I have finished, guys. I'm gonna activate the camera now. I think I have finished. So just like I said, if you have any question, just to let you know that you can send them to us to this address, and we are gonna answer it to you shortly. So I hope you enjoy it. I know it is a lot of information, but if you have any question, just let us know, and we are gonna try to help you to get in touch with the software and to start using it. All right. So bye bye. Have a nice one.